This video has been waiting so long to be made that the orbiter doesn't even have the railjack umbilical and the UI still references channeling. I'm so sorry, I'm bad at this. This video demonstrates our magnum opus, and it trivialises any boundary the game has to offer. We're very proud of this, and credit goes to our Chief Science Officer, Freelance Tentacle Monster, for this. This requires a Hydroid. Any mod loadout is fine, but duration and efficiency are special considerations, as we will be spamming Undertow for this. You'll also need to easily gain energy through Energy Siphon, 𝐏𝐀𝐓𝐿𝐵𝗲𝗲, Zinurix Energy Dash, or a Squad Energy Restore gear. Any combination of these is fine. So, show of hands, who hates Lua? Lua's spy in particular is contentious with its strange approach to vaults. I will be showing you how to defeat almost any solid surface in the game, and despite the antiquity of some of this footage, this technique still works today. I'll use this vault to demonstrate. We first make close friends with the glass wall, pushing into it. We jump, and while we push against the wall, we pulse Hydroid's second ability, Undertow. When we solidify, we are slightly inside the wall. And that is the basis of this trick. Eventually, we'll be able to move, and in doing so, we'll skip everything this vault expects us to do, with minimum effort. To our knowledge, there are only 4 surfaces this technique fails with. The surface is horizontal, like a ceiling or floor. The surface is double layered, like a Grineer window. The area you're trying to access is out of bound, which causes the player to teleport back, or the surface is underwater, as Warframe abilities are not available underwater. You also can't do it in dojos, relays, or your orbiter.
The target console is nearby. If you trigger the alarms now, the enemy will start destroying data. This console has been severely damaged. You can't get anything out of it in this state.
Some of the vaults require specific placement to get through, like this one. But it is far, far easier than doing it the normal way.
Data extracted. They won't even know it's gone.
So let's fast forward to the last vault. Now this vault is a little weird. We go here as normal, but there are 2 ways to finish by preference. You see through this part of the wall here. It takes a while. And if we want to just finish the vault and be done with it, the objective is right over there. But by draining through this small crack in the wall, we can fall into the treasure room. Yeah, this very small crack here. Watch the overlay map for where to land. There. If you're the host, that door on the other end is always shut. But if you're a client in someone else's session, that door could be open. Also, this does directly imply that the past is about 150 meters beneath the present. We don't fall through time, we just fall through space. And then we just seep through this door to leave again. This technique is very useful for grinding gear that is otherwise difficult or tedious to do, like guns that start off too weak. You don't have to fire a gun any more times than it takes to open the void rifts. You don't have to kill anyone. You can't do this with a Warframe other than Hydroid though. So if you want to use this to grind frames, a Hydroid player will have to do this for you. Do you want the drift mods? This also works for those. Note that cheating these tests will not get you the Ascended Nightwave Act. So notice that for this stealth test, I have failed the test. I was spotted by the security lasers. But by breaching through the walls, I probably should have worked out the route beforehand. You can fall into the goal area. However, to do so, you often need to be able to catch yourself. You need to think fast. And there we go, stealth drift. For the coaction test, we don't need a second player or a third player. We can just go through this window that already looks like it doesn't exist. And that easy. Here's our coaction drift. And we get out the same way. Cunning. This security eye is a massive pain in the ass. What if we just said no thank you and pretended we finished the test? Oh, right through here. Through this convenient gap. And there's the cunning drift, and we're gone. Endurance. Okay, there's already a pitifully easy way of dealing with this one. Yeah, here's how you do this the normal way. You jump, transfer out, and our empty frame just... it sits there. But what if we don't even want to do that? I mean, you have to wait like 5 minutes. That blows. So we go through here. Oh, and here's another chimney. We can't jump in here, but we can touch the edge of the portal. And here's our endurance drift. Bye. Power. Again, there's a childishly easy way of defeating this one, to the point that washing through is actually slower. So here's what you do. You transfer out, and then you just park your little pod child away from the power orb. Notice in the corner that these orbs are taking the void energy as opposed to the Warframe energy. I learned after recording this clip that you could park your Warframe in front of another power orb and it will take energy from that as well. So you can charge 2 of these orbs as just a solo player. Agility. If you're not very good with the aim gliding, you can defeat the test this way. Just void dash all the way up. Pick a wall. I know it's in more recent patches, it is difficult to do it against this sort of wall. But all you really have to do is just find a wall you can do it against and route your way here. Anyway, you jump up. We see an eccentricity in the way Warframe renders things. So you have to budge your camera into where you would expect the thing to be. Then you can see it. So we take our agility drift, trip over, and we're done. And finally, speed. Getting footage for this one was such a pain in the ass that I could only get it recently. This course is actually very rare. And this test is also very glitchy. If you fail one leg of the course, you might not be able to complete it because for some reason a teleport volume comes in and blocks the way. So just rinse through this wall, And dash, and oops, accidentally made it. Except not really. Accidentally made it to the treasure room. And we're done. Now exiting is going to be a bit more complex. See, this grill exists to stop you from just jumping in. And here we see that curved surfaces don't exactly work well, as described earlier. So maybe if we got in through the treasure room, we can get out again. And, oh, made it out again. Nailed it. How about the locked doors in the Gas City labs? No problem. Also, it turns out there's nothing behind these doors inside the lab. You just leave the map. What about something that doesn't even have a goal in mind? Wouldn't it be nice to leave Cetus and see the low poly stuff back beyond the gate? That was stupid. I don't think I've ever done it that easily before. Okay, now we can fly around, and for some reason getting near the Cetus settlement, we go into this weird first person view. But by carefully maneuvering, we can vaguely see where things are. And a little further on, there's an invisible boundary. Let's look at these incredibly bad dirigibles. And here's the invisible boundary. And what do we do when we find a boundary? We make it wet. And now we can go beyond. So let's see what's in the tower. Let's see what the Unum is up to. Nothing. It's absolutely hollow. Hi 𝐏𝐸𝐶𝐿 says, I know my shit. So there's a bit of weirdness when you leave the boundaries of a landscape area. If you look through a rangefinder, the range says just short of 5,000 meters. But now we're outside, it does actually decrement. So let's see what happens when we touch the edge of space. What happens when that range hits 0. Nothing. It just sends you back to your last valid location. And how about Deimos? You know, that new shiny piece of spackle that 𝐏𝐀𝐓𝐂𝐇𝐄𝐃 has put over the cracks of this game. Well, it's a little bit difficult because it's on the raised plateau in the middle of nowhere. So we can't just walk up to a wall. But by carefully managing our airtime and using abilities that dash forwards, there's another invisible boundary here that has to be washed through. And we're completely outside the map again. Now, if you're wondering what 𝗏𝘁𝗰𝗵𝗲𝗱 and 𝗏𝘁𝗰𝗵𝗲𝗱 look like up close, I'm afraid you're going to be disappointed. I haven't been able to find where in the world they're located. They're obviously a skybox projection, and they're probably a scale model somewhere, but I haven't been able to locate them. But there is this curious piece. Whenever you're outside the map, they freeze completely. Now the timer is about to change over, and this worm is about to get a face full of laser, but we can't see it yet. So if we fly down, the graphics have just caught up. And if we fly back up again, it's frozen again. All hell. And by falling back down, it turns out there's a ceiling we can walk around on. And suddenly I'm back in my Team Fortress 2 days of building shit in the sky. Here's that same rangefinder anomaly, where there is a finite distance. I won't subject you to the whole thing because it lasts about 5 minutes, and this screen wobble carries on for the rest of the session. And yes, obviously, you can use this on spy vaults. Especially these very tantalizing ones where the objective is literally right in front of you.
Excellent work. A clean extraction with no alarms. They won't even know it's gone.
Here's one I literally haven't done before. And I understand it's already very, very, very easy. But we're not here to do things legally. Done. Okay.
We have everything we came for. Get to extraction.
We, the Whalers of Lure, do not accept responsibility if you get banned because you did this on a dev stream or something, but we encourage you to do this whenever and wherever you please. Warframe does not deserve mercy nor respect. See you next year when I work up the energy to cut together the next science video. Stay safe out there, 𝐻𝐃𝐄.